What is going on, you guys? I am the host of this particular platform, and welcome. I am within the universe's house. I'm sitting in my car at a park, and it is hot as hell here in Arizona. I'm sweating bullets. I have my air conditioner on, so hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. I switched locations. I was at a different park, a park that you guys are familiar with, a park that I recorded content at before, and I had to use the restroom, get gas and stuff like that. So now I'm at a different park, not too far from that other park. But anyway, it feels good to be a part of the universe's house, considering I've been within four corner walls for about a good week now. So to get this natural vitamin D and be a part of you guys really does feel good. Or to be here with you guys really does feel good. Anyway, anytime that I shoot content for this particular playlist, you guys know that it centers around drug addiction, functioning addicts, drugs, all of that shit is centers around. And I'm telling this particular story in regard to when I surrendered myself at the Lower Buckeye Jail here in Arizona. I believe Tempe, to be exact. I'm not telling this story to put them on blast, but I'm telling this story because it could be happening to a lot of other individuals whom they pinpoint to be under the influence of something when they're not. And I don't think that is right. But anyway, to update you guys in regard to my life, I did see court on the 3rd of this month, and everything went well. I started those particular courses that I paid for, and yesterday was my first day of class. I completed that. Today would have been the second day of class, and I would have been halfway through that, but the link to the class was not working properly. Now, I'm assuming that the link got so consumed with motherfuckers trying to get this last course. Maybe it was their last course, maybe it wasn't, but I'm assuming that motherfuckers just congested the link and it wasn't working properly. So by the time I decided to use a different browser, because I use DuckDuckGoose, so I decided to use Chrome, the link worked, and it was about 9:30 because the classes start at 9 o'clock. So I did get a chance to correspond with the director of the program via email, but by the time I got everything worked out, they weren't allowing any more people to join the sessions. So now what I'm going to have to do is call the center that hosts these particular events or classes, courses, and let them know that the link was not working properly. I tried to join. I was able to, get in contact with the director of the program, but by the time I got everything to work out, they just weren't letting any more people in the class. So considering the fact that I've already paid for this shit, I guess I'm going to have to reschedule for next Sunday in order to complete my second day of this class, and this shit will be behind me. I wish it was today, but things happen for their own particular reason. So I'm going to accept it as is and keep it moving. In between that particular window, I will be conducting business in regard to these other classes that I'm court ordered to take. Mind you, I have a class that I have to take that is hosted courtesy of the MVD or DMV or whatever you guys call it in your local area. So in order to get my license back, I had to complete. Look, Arizona is not playing the game when it comes to DUI, drug offenses, or drinking. Shit. a motherfucking first offense is starting at $1,600 some motherfucking dollars worth of fines. So and days in jail and whatever else the case may be. Originally it's supposed to be I think it's 30 days in jail, but considering the whole COVID thing, they're allowing people to stay, you know, a day in jail, aside from the fact that it's packed and all of that type of shit. Anyway, I have that class to complete. Then I have a integrity online panel that I have to do. I can either do that in person or I can do that online. That is a course or a class that I have to attend where victims or people that have been impacted by my actions, so to speak, driving under the influence, you know, we have to hear their stories and how they have been impacted by people like myself, whom chose to get under the wheel and could have caused catastrophes and whatever else the case may be. So I had to complete that. So I'm almost done, you guys, aside from the fact that I have a huge just put it this way, I have a big ass fine to knock down. You know, I'm slowly getting this shit done. Now, the thing that is pissing me off is the fact that I have to self-surrender myself again and go through that process once more. And the fact that I wasn't treated well when I first surrendered myself, I really do not want to go through this process all over again in order to proceed with my case. I just, for one, it costs a near $700 motherfucking dollars to stay a day in the motherfucking Lower Buckeye Jail compared to the Scottsdale Jail. Now, I did not know that you could serve your days and or time in different motherfucking jails. Now, the Scottsdale Jail will only cost you $200 and some odd dollars to stay and serve your time there. But there are certain restrictions and or a protocol that you have to follow in order to get inside that jail. So by the time you get done doing all of that, you may as well serve your time in the motherfucking Lower Buckeye motherfucking jail and get it over and done with, if they don't refuse you for having high blood pressure. This is what happened to me, and this is why I have to basically do this all over again. Because, I mean, let them tell it. Let 3 or 4 officers tell it I was high on methamphetamine, which I was not. For one, I did not know if I was going to get drug tested at the Lower Buckeye Jail. So why would I go in there, you know, high like that? Now, I did take my ass to the dispensary before I self-surrendered myself, and I bought 2 1,000 milligram RSO gummies, and I took both them bitches. I felt like I needed to be under the influence of something, which I did not need to be under the influence of anything. I just needed to serve that motherfucking time and be done with it. But I felt like I needed to be under the influence of something in order to make it through. And, you know, I guess that is what caused an elevation in regard to my blood pressure. And I wish that it wouldn't, because now I have to do this shit all over again. And what I seen, felt, heard, and experienced was not a good thing. And again, I'm not here to put them on blast, but a lot of other people's characters could be defamed due to officers and staff at this particular jail making them seem like, you know, I mean, just putting that energy on them when they're not even, you know, in that particular phase. Anyway, here's the paperwork of all of the jail stuff that I have thus far. And here is the new confinement order in pink that I have to take to the Lower Buckeye Jail and do this bullshit all over again in regard to self-surrendering, which will happen on the 30th of this month at 11:30. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to make sure not to be high or any motherfucking thing so that I can get this shit over and motherfucking done with, and they can be behind me and I can move on with my damn life. Anyway, the 25th of April is when I self-surrendered myself to the Lower Buckeye Jail in Tempe, if I'm not mistaken. Tempe, Arizona, that is. I was supposed to have been there way earlier, but I got there late due to whatever circumstances. And I arrived at about 1 something in the afternoon. Now, I was there alongside with some young lady, some female. By the time they opened the doors for everybody, which they don't open the doors for you right away, it was about an hour later. So around that time, it had accumulated in regard to the individuals that were waiting to get inside to serve whatever time they had to serve, regarding self-surrendering. I was trying to be cute. You know, I had bought some scissors and shit, you know, prior to me going to the jail so I can cut my hair and, you know, do whatever else. I mean, I thought that I was going to have a fun time with this whole self-surrendering bullshit. But come to find out, that was not the case. I did not have a good time. And I'm here to express that. So anyway, it was myself, about 2 or 3 women, but I believe it was 2. It was the young lady that was there when I, you know, arrived. Then there was a pregnant woman with glasses that was there, and there was a Mexican guy. I believe it was just us 4, if I'm not mistaken. The officers let us in. We were in the first part of the self-surrendering process before we get into the main entrance where everybody else is being held before going into the jail area. So anyway, this process, or during this process, we have to surrender our items and sign some paperwork. So belts, wallets, money, shoelaces, hair ties, shit, the string things that hold up your motherfucking glasses, even though I didn't have that at that particular time. All that shit had to be surrendered. So after all of that, it took, I'll say, about another 20 something minutes or so before it was time to go in the actual area where everyone else was being held at. This is where the shenanigans began, and the circus truly started. Now, again, I was not high on any methamphetamine or anything like that, but I do believe the gummies did start to take effect. I didn't realize how high I was off the motherfucking gummies, but these are RSO gummies, so they hit me pretty good. Anyway, we get ready to go back in the area where everyone else is being held. And when I walked through them doors, I promise you, I thought that I was in a motherfucking circus. From the police officers to the nursing staff to the motherfuckers that was already in there waiting to serve whatever time they were, in there waiting for. It seemed like I was in the twilight zone. I promise you. It seemed like people were voguing. That's the body language that I was seeing. But it was body language for a lot of different things. I didn't know it was co-ed like that, but females were on one end, the men were on the opposite end. I couldn't really see what was going on the female side of things, but it seemed like, you know, some sexual stuff was going on. All of this, what I'm about to tell y'all, is basically sexually based. There was some eye rollings in the back of the head. I'm not, specifying that to, one or thing or whatever the case may be, which is sex. They could have been eye rolling in the back of their head for stretching, or, anything could have been the cause of why their eyes are rolling in the back of their head. But the way that a lot of the police officers were sitting at the desk or a certain desk with their eyes rolling in the back of the head and whatever the case may be seemed very sexual. Now look, I witnessed the bathroom area, which a lot of the men officers were trying to get me to go into. There was a lot of this in regards to some of the male officers. When it came to me, there was a lot of this in regards to the male officers. When it came to me, it was a lot of hard-ons, erections when it came to the men officers. When it came down to me, it was a lot of pointing to the bathrooms, or I'm assuming it was the bathroom area, because it was the bathroom area. It had to been. Anyway, I seen women going in first, or vice versa. I see men going in first, and then I would see women and or men going in after, and I would hear the rhythmic sounds of fucking. There's only a couple of rhythmic sounds that would lead to, some fucking, and that's what it sounded like. And I'm thinking to myself, because I was a part of my environment at this point, I'm thinking all of this shit is cute. And I'm looking at officers looking at me and doing the jack off, gesture, and doing the blowjob gesture. And, I'm seeing men, because I'm not on the women's side, but I'm seeing men with sticking their asses out, flopping down up in their seats, and, doing all this. And I seen men in their chairs, sprouting all back with their legs wide open and stuff, pushing out their bulges, and like the blowjob gesture. I'm looking at all of this, and all of a sudden my energy changed, and what I was seeing and was a part of wasn't sitting well with me. So I decided, I'm sorry, you guys. Let me get something to drink real quick. So I decided, I'm sorry. I decided to take myself out of my environment and just sit back and observe some shit, because I really wanted to know if what I am seeing, feeling, and experiencing in this motherfucking jail is what the fuck it is. What the body language that I was getting from the individuals that I was surrounded by. Just imagine the baseball game, and imagine the person behind the batter that is doing all of the sign language and body gestures, basically alerting or telling the pitcher to throw a curveball, or to do whatever they are going to do with the ball, but just do it this particular way. And I'm showing you how to do it this particular way through whatever body language that I'm showing you. That is what was going on in the Lower Buckeye motherfucking jail here in Arizona. It was a lot of motherfucking body language going on. Females were sitting normally how females would not sit. And this was happening in the one part before we got to the charades, basically. I seen male officers talking to the females that were self-surrendering themselves. And one female in particular, the one that was already there when I arrived, was sitting there. They look like they've been through this a couple of times in regard to self-surrendering themselves, because they knew the procedure and they knew exactly what to do, where to go, and all that shit. There was a part of going in and out the bathrooms, and some of everything else. But they was opening their legs very wide, in front of these male officers. They were taking their fingers, and I can't do it because my other hand is holding the phone, but they were doing the I want to say vagina symbol. I'm telling you guys, it was going down in this motherfucking jail. I only have a couple of minutes, so let me move forward. Anyway, there was one part where there was an extremely loud motherfucking bang. Whoever was between the thighs of this person, I'm surprised they have a coochie to this day. It was that loud. Now, either the nurses and or staff were playing a game on a lot of those people that were in there, because a lot of them people were under the influence of whatever drug they were under the influence of. But a lot of them people were very sexual. They were touching themselves and a lot of other different things. Masturbating. They were doing the most in this motherfucking jail when I self-surrendered myself. Anyway, the bang happened behind me. I turned around and I seen some smirky smiles on some of the nurses' faces and some of the male staff and staff in general that worked for this jail. Now, I'm not sure if someone was fucking and whatever the case may be, and that loud bang was the result of an orgasm, because shortly after that, a male moaned, and it was a loud moan, and followed by that was a female moan. And only certain people were able to see what was going on in that particular area of the jail. Now, those people were some of the nursing staff, some of the police officers, and some of the individuals that were in that waiting area, basically serving their time. Only a handful of them individuals got to see what was going on in that area. Aside from that, no one else was able to see in that area. So I'm not sure what was going on. If it was a cruel joke, considering there were people in there that were under the influence, or if people were really in there fucking and sucking. And I do believe people were in there fucking and sucking. Like I told y'all, they thought that I was under the influence. I had about 3 officers accuse me of being high on methamphetamine, but I was not. I was high I was high off that RSO oil, but aside from that, I was not high on any methamphetamine or anything like that. So my head was pretty clear in regard to my surroundings, the energy that I was feeling, and some of everything else. Anyway, there came a time when I had to take the blood pressure test. I didn't get up right away because I was just so shocked by all of the shit that was going on around me. So I heard one female nurse say, "Oh, he's coming." Not verbatim in regard to what they said, but very close to it. Something in regard to me coming. And then the other one that took my blood pressure test was like, "Oh, he's going to be coming soon." And I sat down. And the way that they took my arm, it was almost like they was erecting a penis. I'm not kidding you guys. This shit happened to me when I went to self-surrender myself. Anyway, then she went to put the band around my arm, which she did like in a condom type of form. Slid it down my arm and all that type of shit. You know, was stroking my arm up and down. I mean, it was just doing the most. And I got through that phase. So I didn't know that I had an acute blood pressure until after this particular moment. So after that, I had to go to a window. I was directed to a window where this Indian looking woman was sitting on the opposite side. So she's on a computer typing out stuff, and I'm watching her fingers, and she's being very suggestive in regard to sexual stuff. And I'm ignoring it because, for one, I'm not into females like that. Even if I was into females, I still would have ignored it, because at this point, the energy that I was receiving was the type of energy that would pre-warn you about going into a party or a club that's probably going to have a shootout later on. That's the type of energy that I was getting. Anyway, I'm watching her hands and her fingers and her gestures, and she's doing stuff with her lips, and she's, you know, just moving around in her seat and just doing all type of awkward ass shit. She was acting like she was getting her pussy ate, to be quite honest with you, and she probably was. But anyway, there came time when I had to sign some documents. Now, the first document, I will say, resonated with me, and I didn't see no cause not to sign that document. It was when it came time to sign the second document is when I refused to do so. And that's when the energy changed. But anyway, she's reading to me what this document pertains and what it centers around, and that's methamphetamine. Now, I don't know the gist of the document, and I don't want to lie, because it almost seems like if I had signed that document, I was signing my life over to the motherfucking Illuminati or some shit. But it seemed like once I had signed that document, I was going to have access to drugs. There was already let me know where the drugs was at. The people that were sitting in there, they was doing the sniffling. I had a couple of people that was doing the sniffling and, you know, doing the bubble thing, because when you smoke methamphetamine, you twist the pipe back and forth in order to get a big hit and in order to save the dope. I seen a lot of that, plus nodding the heads to where the bathrooms are. A lot of the cops know where the dope and shit is in the jails, so I believe that they were not I believe, since they knew what my drug of choice is, considering my DUI and whatever the case may be, they were going to lead me to the motherfucking drugs. But anyway, there came a part in the document that this lady was reading me where we paused and we made eye contact, and my body was telling me or warning me, no, do not sign these damn documents. But the lady on the opposite end was looking at me and shaking her head up and down real slow in a yes gesture, wanting me to sign those documents that centered around methamphetamine and stuff like that. Now, I already have a record, considering the fact that I got pulled over, you know, driving under the influence of methamphetamine and all of that type of shit. But whatever document they wanted me to sign was going to further incriminate me. I already know this, and that's why I refused to sign the motherfucker. I've refused to sign several documents in my life, and, you know, I mean, what's the big deal? So after I refused to sign that document is where things started to go beyond downhill in regard to the Lower Buckeye Jail. Now, mind you, I am living a spiritual life, or I'm trying to live a spiritual life, and a lot of what I go through is very spiritual to me, and a lot of you guys wouldn't understand the symbolism that comes with a lot of the events that I, you know, been going through, and still going through. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm trying to wrap this up. Anyway, where was I at? There was so much that went on in that jail. So after I refused to sign that document, I seen the look on the nurse's face, and it almost was a look of, how dare you challenge me like this, and how dare you not sign these documents? And the energy of the motherfucking jail changed. I'm telling you, I heard talk or innuendo in regard to, oh, you so stupid, oh, yo, you still gonna walk this walk alone, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you should have just signed the documents. That was just so dumb. You should have just signed the documents. And I know that this probably did not have anything to do with me, but considering the fact that this all occurred right after I did not sign those documents, or sign that one document, all of a sudden I'm starting to hear talk like this. I didn't hear this talk beforehand when all of this shit was going down and everybody was getting their kikis and hoo-hoos on and good feelings on. And so now all of a sudden that I did not sign those documents, or that document, I'm starting to pick this energy up. I thought I was going to get murdered in that motherfucker. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I heard a speech. It was a long, drawn-out speech. I'm not sure if it was the Illuminati speech or not, but it was a speech. And I heard what sounded like someone getting their throat cut, but I'm not sure. I'm sure that didn't happen, but it sounded just like someone was getting their throat cut. Maybe there was fucking and coming. I don't know, because there was so much going on in that particular jail at that time. So I don't know. But a lot of this, like I said, is spiritual to me. I'm just telling you, a lot of shit changed in regard to the energy of the jail. A lot of the officers that were cool with me and were doing all of the, you know, sexual gestures and shit like that, their energy changed towards me. They had attitudes and shit. And shortly thereafter, I was introduced with the letter, a refusal letter, stating that I could not serve my time because I have an acute medical condition that needs a follow-up within a couple of days. And within that couple of day window, I guess this acute medical condition that they did not never name on the form will cure itself, or whatever the case may be, and whatever. So I am to return to the motherfucking jail with old and or all new prescriptions, which I never brought any prescriptions to they motherfucking asses, because it's none of y'all business what type of medication I'm on. But whatever I'm on never caused a acute medical condition to the point where I had to that I got turned away from services. So I just feel like this is another way of them just making this situation harder for me, considering I had a drug DUI and it was methamphetamine. But I want to know what it was. Just some strange ass shit that happened. Not only did it happen inside of the jail, but it happened on the outside of the jail as well. Now, I will tell you guys about this particular story at a different time, but I was threatened by some individuals that I did not know. They told me not to fuck with them. I heard a cop and seen a cop tell some individuals in the parking lot that I was in, because I was trying to use a payphone that did not work, and I didn't realize the motherfucker didn't work until I got up to the payphone. But this cop told these individuals not to fuck with me because I'm high on methamphetamine and I am liable to do whatever. And these aren't the words verbatim that this officer used, but it's very close to exactly what this officer said. He said, "Do not basically be aware of me because I'm high on methamphetamine and I'm liable to do whatever." And that is defaming my character, considering you don't know what I'm on, because y'all never drug tested me to see if I'm on methamphetamine or not. It was a very horrible experience after my release. But yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about. I'm sure the gummies probably elevated my, how can I say it, my frame of thought or whatever to a degree, but it's not like how I would be if I was high on methamphetamine. Trust me, my frame of thought would be totally motherfucking different. Though I did have a elevated level in regard to thought because I was, high on the RSO gummies, I still know what I seen, felt, heard, and experience when I self-surrendered myself. And it started off being a good experience because I thought that, hey, I may get some dick out of this and I may get an officer or two, blah, 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 blah. But then when I separated myself from my environment and just peeped out some shit for what it really was and started looking at stuff with my third eye and not these set of eyes. Remember, we have third eyes that we can utilize, and I utilized my third eye during this experience, and the energy that I received in return was not good motherfucking energy. There's something up with this particular motherfucking jail. I can't pinpoint it, but it's not good energy. And the fact that I have to go through this again, and I'm going to make sure that I am not high off no RSO gummies or nothing like that, because I want to see if the same motherfucking bullshit happens on the 30th when I self-surrender myself. And if I see the same body gestures and whatever else and bullshit amongst officers and people such as myself whom are self-surrendering themselves and staff and whatever, then I know that what I'm telling you guys is some true motherfucking shit, that they are literally fucking and sucking and doing whatever else. They doing that anyway. They do it in prison, so why wouldn't they do it in the motherfucking Lower Buckeye motherfucking jail, which is basically the prison? So anyway, this is why I'm telling this story, for you guys to sober the fuck up and get your minds right, regardless if this is really going on or if this was a sinister joke amongst staff, because they know that motherfuckers are high and pretty much not in their right element. It's still a wrong thing to do. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. I will definitely tell the other side of that story. I do apologize for this content being as long as it is, but I had to get this off my chest and tell the story for what it is and tell the truth about it, because these things did happen when I self-surrendered myself on the 25th of April. These things truly did happen. All right, you guys, until my next upload, namaste, and you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.